Welcome to Politically Basic. I'm your host, Kyle Campbell. As we always do, we're breaking down the basics of all political issues and current political events so that you get to decide. We are in person, and we've got a fun one today. With me on the show, Charles DiMauro. He founded and organized 805 Patriots in 2021, holding all of the major and largest patriotic and Trump rallies leading up to and after the 2024 presidential election. These events spanned Ventura County, down the coast through Los Angeles and Orange County, and up through Santa Barbara and San Luis Obispo counties, with attendance ranging from a few hundred to over 3,000 vehicles that had about 6,000 people at their largest event in Simi Valley the Sunday before the election. They've also held flag runs, overpass and street corner rallies, to speaking events for candidates running for office, ranging from local all the way up to Congress, Senate, and for governor. Tom McDonald filmed his viral music video and song Daddy's Home at one of their rallies. President Trump has reposted their videos on True Social in the past, as well as one of their videos being featured where?
At Lee Greenwood's
yes.
new rock version of God Bless USA.
Thanks for filling in that hole for me. Charles, welcome to the show.
Thanks for letting me come on.
This is so fun. So obviously being in central South Coast California myself, I'm well familiar with these rallies. I've seen them. Definitely follow along with what you guys are doing on socials. You've got a great social following.
Thanks.
But so curious about how you got started with all of this. How did 805 Patriots come to be, and how did you become the patriotic rally guy?
Truthfully, it all kind of started back in 2015, 2016 when Trump first ran for office. I was watching Trump go down the escalator with my grandpa, and he was like, right then and there, we're voting for Trump. And I'm like, okay. Changed my Instagram logo to Trump 2016. Had no idea what that meant at the time. Always knew I was majority conservative because it was the way I was raised. Lost like 700 followers within the week, which was crazy. No one ever talked to me again. Even the conservatives, they didn't want to be around the other conservative kind of people. So I was like, okay, I mean, it's kind of fun. Might as well just start wearing my MAGA hat off and just be proud of what I am. Then I was like, okay, well, I need to start doing a little more research on why I support Trump and all this other stuff. And then it came around time for the 2020 election when we had that rally here in Santa Barbara, which you actually brought up earlier today. Mm-hmm. And when I was there, I found out that about 2 hours before it happened. I live a block away from where the starting location was. When I was there, this kid was like, hey, you going to the rally tomorrow in Ventura? No, I'm not, but now I am. And basically just kept going on and on like that, kept going to more rallies, got to a point where I was hitting probably 10 to 20 rallies a weekend.
Wow.
Didn't matter where they were. I would just drive and go and support Trump and support America and everything. Then when Biden took office, everyone kind of just slowed down and stopped and trickled away. And that's when I was like, well, I've got a bunch of friends. I've got this kind of like base already of just a bunch of people that are all really patriotic and stuff. Kind of just texted everyone. I was like, hey, you guys want to go do something? Kind of just slowly built it up from there and built the Instagram up, built a bigger following. Now I have like almost 18,000 followers on Instagram, a couple million views, and I have 1,500 contacts. I sit there and text individually to every single person to come out to a rally.
Incredible. You really tapped in to something that people were looking for, especially at the time, but I think post-2020 election when there was confusion and disappointment about what had happened and everybody was locked down.
Yeah.
Were you sensing that? Were you feeling like people wanted a way to express how they were feeling, but they felt like they couldn't, or maybe they were literally under lockdown, stay-at-home orders, or, you know, they were looking for a place to put that expression, and maybe you fulfilled that for them?
Well, I mean, actually, during the lockdowns, I never went out more in my life.
Tell me about that. What were you doing?
Rallies.
But
everywhere.
Were you ever like pulled over? Did people give you a hard time?
Not really, no. I mean, we got pulled over at a rally recently, a couple months ago. That was a completely different reason because we were going too slow for them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That happens all the time, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm being facetious. That never happens.
No, it's not. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about what the response was, because the rally that I witnessed was in Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
And that's a very blue. It's basically I'd say 65-35 split. Very heavily liberal, a lot of Democrats in the whole county. And that was the first one that you drove there. What was the experience of that like? And what response did you witness during that?
I just thought it was honestly so amazing, like so hopeful that Trump could win, because there were so many people that showed up. I think there was like 500 vehicles in a rally that I didn't know about for two hours before it happened in my town. And I didn't even know these were even happening in California. And then all of a sudden I just hop into this thing, and the support, I mean, there was a lot of support, and everyone at the rallies was just so nice. And I finally found the group to be a part of, basically. And there was a lot of backlash, but you're not making a difference unless you're going to get a little backlash, basically.
Yeah. I think that is what everyone here has witnessed in these counties, all of Southern California particularly. And I want your take on this, because I know you go north a little bit too. But that people who are not liberal or who didn't like what was going on, maybe they were Democrats. We've had a lot of people switching parties. They just were unhappy about what was going on and felt that they couldn't express themselves. And so I think what was shocking to everyone in such a deep blue county was to see how many people love their community, love their country, and just wanted the opportunity to get out there, have some fun, and just share that.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that number for that area is just like absolutely mind-blowing. Do you have anybody get crazy on that rally?
That Santa Barbara rally?
Yeah. Or was it pretty tame?
No, I saw some stuff, some people screaming and yelling, but I've kind of dealt with that for the last couple of years now, but I don't really care. It's fun.
You seem like a person who maybe enjoys poking some buttons, pushing some buttons there.
Well, I think of it both ways, that we got to show these liberals that we're not going anywhere and we're not standing down, but then also it gives hope to all the other conservatives that are too quiet and too scared to come out and speak their minds. That's what I've kind of built my group on, was giving hope to all the conservatives, the silent majority, which we are just the majority, and we should stick to being the majority, a vocal majority.
Well, much more vocal now, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So since 2021, when you started 805 Patriots, and obviously you had tremendous growth.
Yeah.
What did that look like with these rallies? How did it start to grow, and how did the word spread?
My first rally had about 12 vehicles. And I kind of just that was President Trump's birthday back in Santa Barbara. That was the first rally I ever did. We had about 12 vehicles, and majority of everyone showed up were my friends from Thousand Oaks. So I was like, okay. So I kind of built my group in Ventura County, because it was just kind of where all the rallies were already happening and everyone was already more vocal out there. Kind of joined all the other groups. I'm just really friendly, and I'm able to make friends pretty easily. And then just going to I would organize an event, go to some kind of other event like a fair or something in the fairgrounds, country concert, and I'm walk around, oh, you seem like you'd be conservative. Here's a flyer. Come and join to a rally.
Well, how would you know somebody was conservative?
MAGA hat, flag a flag on their shirt, cowboy boots, lifted truck with flags on it, or just kind of some kind of sticker on it of some sort. And kind of just, I'm easy to go up to people and just talk. And so hey, we're doing this. Come and join.
And across those years, we're in 25 now. So across the last 4 years, when our country has really gone through a lot, right? A lot of upset has been kind of brewing, I would say. And here in California, very much so, under the leadership of Governor Gavin Newsom. As you went across the state, you were down in as far south as, where would you go? Did you ever go down to San Diego? Okay, Newport. So Orange County, which tends to be a little bit more conservative across the state. All the way up to how far north did you go?
We went up to Creston.
Okay.
Which is right below Paso Robles or San Luis Obispo, right up there.
So again, you're kind of hitting the corridor that tends to be a little bit more agricultural, small business, a lot of families, churches.
Yeah.
So when you look at the map of California and you look at the red, which is a significant majority of the state, and then the coastline is typically blue.
Yeah.
What were you seeing energy-wise when you traveled to those different counties and those different cities with these rallies?
Depending where we went, the turnout was completely different. The type of people was completely different, and the way people in the area took it was completely different. Like we do one rally when we cruise from San Pedro from the Trump Golf Course. They love us when we go there, and we drive through Long Beach. That is where all the crazy people are. Scream at us, yell at us. I'm like, okay, we're making a difference. And then we go through Seal Beach, right past a Trump store. The entire town came out to support us. And then we cruise down to Huntington Beach. Everyone thumbs up. Down to Newport, continues, more support. But then, like, we've done rallies in Burbank and LA where we've been protested before. We've had one rally where they actually showed up to our starting location to protest us. They didn't do anything, which is hilarious because this was right after Trump got elected, this last election. We did a YMCA conga line around them. That video has 2 million views now.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, how many people were in the protest?
I think they had about 10 people show up.
That's pretty typical, actually, I would say, for someone protesting something here in California. We have our just precious friends who think it's a good idea to sit on the 405 freeway.
Yeah.
And I'd say 10 to 12 is about your typical
No, that was 10
protesters.
of them, that
No,
showed
I know,
up. Yeah. Versus our, I think, 50 or 60 for that day. Yeah.
What county would you say is having the most movement politically? Who's got the most energy right now toward making a change, would you say?
Well, Simi Valley, honestly, is just our biggest turnouts. It's always been, I don't say I started them because back in 2020 and 2019, they were doing rallies every Sunday up until the election, and those were humongous. So it was kind of my goal to kind of recreate that. And basically I did. I think I doubled their turnout.
Wow.
I think their largest turnout was about 3,000 vehicles. So mine was 3,000 vehicles, about 6,000 people showed up.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And for people who don't know or aren't familiar with California, Simi Valley, we've got the Presidential Library for Ronald Reagan there.
Yeah.
It's a lot of law enforcement. Tons of cops live there. And,
firefighters, a little bit of everyone. Yeah.
Yeah. You see so many police when you drive through the 118. I always feel extra safe when I'm in that community.
Just don't drive too fast.
Well, definitely. No, I think we all check ourselves a little bit more when we're there. So cool. Let's talk. I'm dying to talk about the Tom McDonald Daddy's Home video. Everyone's got to go look this up immediately on YouTube.
It was so much fun filming
He's
it.
a character. I mean, he's like this white rapper with face tattoos and dreads, or he's got his braids.
Yeah.
It's good music, though. Like, a lot of people really just love him and are so into this music. And he has produced music of this type of genre. It's a little bit satirical. Like, it's really out there. It's really in your face. But this one was a little different and drew a little bit more attention than some of his. Didn't he do one that was like "You Missed" or something about the
day after attempt? President Trump got shot. Yeah.
And so Daddy's Home was indicative of the fact that Trump won the election in 2024, and he was going home to the White House. Tell us how the video for this song came about.
We were having our Simi Valley rallies every Sunday, and turned out some of his family lived in Simi Valley, and he ended up following me on Instagram, and part of me like, is this a joke? Like, I've been listening to this guy for at least 6 to 8 years now, and I messaged him immediately, and I'm like, hey, thanks for the support. That's so awesome you followed us. Here's a couple dates of our next couple events. Come and join us. Just come and hang out. He showed up a week later, the Sunday after the election when Trump won. It was our Simi Valley victory lap that had probably 2,000 vehicles at it. And he had a great time. It was funny, there was this motorcycle that was pulling up, blasting his song.
Nice.
And he ran up and he was like, no way, this is the first time I've ever seen someone playing my music in person. And everyone was amazing. Everyone really great at my rallies. Didn't go too crazy about him. But then right then and there, like when we were about to leave, he was like, hey, here's my number. Give me a call. We're going to film a music video. And week or two later, he was like, hey, this is a couple of my dates. What can you plan out? And I was like, okay, if you want to have this good, let's do this one later down. And it was filmed in December. It came out the Friday or Saturday right before the inauguration.
Nice.
I called every single one of my people, the main ones that had the biggest trucks, the biggest flags. Hey guys, come and film this. Can't tell you what this is. And you can't say anything until it comes out, basically. And we drove around Simi Valley, had a smaller turnout because we were just trying to keep it quiet, and smaller route. And we went and filmed up on a bridge, and where we filmed everything else. We have a video I sent you guys that it shows him filming the music video, and then also another one of us on the overpass another time of just, it's gone viral. My post didn't go viral, but it went everywhere else. I think Charlie Kirk possibly reposted it. It was just completely taken over with flags and trucks on this bridge.
Wow. Did you know that Roseanne Barr was coming?
I knew someone was coming.
Okay.
I didn't know who. Yeah, that was a complete surprise to me. And truthfully, when I saw her, I didn't even recognize her. Yeah.
Well, in the video, she's got like long, full blonde
dreads. Yeah.
Braids.
Yeah. Dreads, braids. So, yeah, it was crazy.
She looks incredible. Like, she looks
awesome.
really good.
And she's
I know
so
it's supposed to
nice.
be funny. She's so nice.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I met her years ago, and she is just the most down-to-earth human. So I love that she did it.
Yeah.
I think she looks fire in the video, and people have to check it out. It's really fun. But it kind of, did you feel like at that moment it sort of cemented you as like, hey, you're the rally guy, you're the, Trump, pro-Trump, pro-America kind of rally team?
I truthfully never thought I would get to that point. I mean, I had already been invited to meet Trump 2 years prior down in Beverly Hills at the ice cream shop, Carvel's, if you remember that, possibly.
I don't. What happened there?
He was coming to speak at an event, and some of the team was like, hey, we know about you guys. Come over here. Someone could possibly be showing up. So went over there, and Trump showed up, and it was one of the greatest days of my life. And then now we got Tom McDonald's music video, and I'm like, this is really happening. We kind of made it when I started with 12 people.
I think you're a bigger deal than you realize you are now.
Yeah. I never really put my face to it.
Yeah.
The 805 Patriots.
Right.
I never wanted to. It was never really about me. It was kind of about everyone else.
Yeah. We'll keep doing it. It's an absolute blast.
Thanks. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. And you can tell you're having a blast with it, which is what it's about. That's how it should be. I mean, it started out that way, and you're as patriotic as it gets for this country. And, California needs this energy right now. And I want to take a few minutes and really talk California specific and what's happening in the state. I think when we talk about the basics of politics and our political system here, we've been through so much the last few years. This last year has been absolutely a circus and a lot of attention paid over here in our home state because the energy has been ramping up, right? And when the vote numbers were coming out after, November 6th last year, people were blown away at how many people voted for Trump. And minority groups. I mean, California is turning more Hispanic than it has ever been.
Yeah.
I think in our educational system here, there are way more Hispanic kids than Caucasian kids. Our makeup is shifting, right? So many people have fled the state and left.
A lot of people
from
have,
both political parties, but mostly conservatives who just can't stand it any longer.
Can't live here long enough to make it business-wise, economy-wise.
It's true. I mean, we talk about this a lot on a national scale, but when you live it every day, when you're here, and you know this so well, I know it so well, because day in and day out, you're trying to figure out how you're going to not lose your mind, keep going, pay your bills, and it seems like weekly, Newsom is in front of the cameras with the mic saying, well, we're going to have to do XYZ, which really XYZ and always is another tax, another expense to the taxpayer. So we're typically about 65-35. And if you go back and look at the voting, records for all the way back to even, 2000, the year that we had G-Dub running and he won, it was actually when he won the second term, California went really red. Yeah. That was a real shift. And ever since then, it's gotten bluer. Bluer and bluer and bluer. Until last fall. And we're starting to see the swing go back. It's remarkable. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on. We just saw in the news that Newsom announced the 25-26 budget. This is just laughably insane because he said, oh, so sorry, we're $12 billion in the hole. That's the deficit number. Now, remember, he came in with numbers in the black, right? Yeah. So we're $12 billion in the hole this year. And then he proceeded to lay out a nearly $322 billion state budget.
Real nice.
Okay, yeah, delightful. He says that the deficit's partly due to broad economic uncertainty, i.e. not his fault, including ever-changing federal tariff policies and a volatile stock market. So essentially he's blaming, leadership. Yeah. He says California relies heavily on revenue from a tax on capital gains. I die. So this is where he's coming from. California has sued the Trump administration over these tariffs. But as we watch it play out, it's actually course correcting and going in a really good direction. And then he just said again on the news he would like the state to potentially pause or stop enrollment in state-funded health care for immigrants starting in 2026. It's more expensive than he realized it would be to fund that for them, to the tune of $2.7 billion more expensive than he was planning on. This is after he said back in March he would not roll it back, but there's a $6.2 billion Medicaid shortfall. So things are not going in the right direction. He's not taking personal responsibility. No. And all these things that he promised to do, particularly for illegal immigrants, he's now having to roll back because the state literally can't afford it. Yeah. I mean, we've been paying for these things. So we've got the $12 billion in the hole here. Here's some other interesting statistics. During his governorship, Newsom's governorship, California's state budget has grown over 63%, rising from around $200 billion in 2019 to the $327 billion in the current fiscal year. So adjusting for inflation and our population losses, especially since 2019, that represents a 38% per person increase in real state government spending. Fun.
Yeah, real nice.
Yeah. So let's talk California. We're the most expensive state to live in. We're losing the most people. This is the hardest state to have a business in. We have the highest homelessness. Our education scores are the lowest. The taxes, out of control. Yeah. Out of control taxes. To the point where if you leave the state, meaning if you actually move, not just go for a little bit. If you move, the state of California is trying to tax you on your way out. Yeah. So he wants to put on a mileage tax now. I mean, it is insane. And even with the most recent recall effort, it failed. And what people said, this is so interesting. I'd love your take on this, Charles, because I think that this is really connected to the movement that you have started and what you're sensing from people. But when that recall effort failed and everyone was like, how could this be? Everyone's so upset with what's happening in California, the momentum, the energy, against him and to turn, right.
I collected over 1,000 signatures myself.
A lot of people I know really went out there and worked hard. And Democrats, too, were very unhappy. This wasn't just a conservative-only effort. The state was suffering. Yeah. And we needed different leadership.
Is.
It absolutely, worse than ever now. It failed. And when they were interviewing people about this, post that vote, what people said was, you know what, I really don't like what's going on. I don't like this governor, but it's going to be too difficult and too expensive for our state to replace him. Why go through the effort and the expense of uprooting him and making the change? It's just too difficult. That was what they said, why they voted against the recall, even though they were terribly unhappy with the consequence of his governorship.
And how our gas prices are and our rent prices, literally every single thing about Newsom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting to me, and I think the big question, the main question here, that you can speak into better than almost anyone, is can California really turn red again? And I think it's important that we talk through why that recall effort failed, and the energy that you're seeing, and this 40%, well, it's like 39% vote for Trump in 2024, and how everything is shifting. Do you think it can happen, or do you think that we're just going to forever, perpetually be in this state of being frustrated, broke, angry, upset,
living paycheck to paycheck,
disappointed, but not get to the point where this state, who has typically gone 65% for the Democrat candidate, are we just going to keep going in that direction? What do you think?
Truthfully, I really hope not. I mean, we were red with Reagan, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Hope we can get back to it. Yeah. It's leading up to this last election, the support was amazing. If you were not joining us, you were standing on the street corner, like waving at us, honking at us. That was honestly what I was trying to do, was just give hope to every single person that wouldn't speak up themselves. And this last election basically proved it, that people have had enough and they're time to change. And hopefully with what happened with the Palisades now, with the fire and all these new things trying to fix it, and how long they're going to take to fix it and clean everything up, how they ran out of water. I'm hoping that creates some more conservatives right then and there. When they go
I think that happened. And, we haven't had an election since that fire took place. And we have fires all the time. Yeah. You know this so well. And we're well versed in what it takes to fight it, and the reserves you have to have, and the dredging that needs to happen, and the opening of waterways, and the runoff, and the Delta smelt that needs to be protected. God help us if the Delta smelt goes extinct. But, when that one happened, it was sort of a breaking point, I think, for a lot of Californians, particularly in the Pacific Palisades, Malibu, down to LA area. Yeah. I've lived in that area before. Everyone has to operate with sort of some sense of confidence that your elected leadership and your fire captain and your mayor knows what we know. Regular civilians know what is needed to be prepared and to combat these fires. Malibu Canyon has fires and mudslides and things all the time. And so I think it was really this catalyst now, and I'm extra excited and curious to see how that is going to play out in the next vote, in the midterms, and when some of these people can get moved along. But I love what you're doing too, Charles, because I think that you're giving people permission to express their displeasure with current leadership and want to vote in new leadership. I mean, it's most basic, and that's what we talk about here, basics. You're telling people who were shunned in 2016, remember how scary it was to express support for a conservative, canceled, shut down, screamed at, and I'm sure you get some of this at your rallies anyway.
I was fully canceled as well back then,
Right, you lost friends, you lost followers on socials, and you're sort of giving people that open door and that safe opportunity to say, look, we're going to get yelled at regardless, but join us and live your free existence in a free country to express your political views. I think that you're doing a lot of good there, and so I'm curious to see what's going to happen going forward.
Yeah. I really hope it gets better. I don't know if we're going to go red this next election, but I think it might be a stepping stone to, with a good right candidate, the 2028 election for presidential. That's when I think we could finally become a swing state.
26 will be highly interesting because it will be a gubernatorial race.
Yeah.
Governor Newsom's term is done. We have term limits here for the position of governor. I think that's a great thing.
Even though it feels like he's been in office for way too long.
Isn't that interesting how it's been since 2019, and it does feel like it's been like 12 years or something.
Yeah.
He's done a lot in those short few years.
A lot of damage.
Well, I wasn't going to say it, Charles, but I think a lot of people would agree with that.
Yeah.
So this will be highly interesting. We've heard some people who have already expressed interest or have declared their candidacy to run. Steve Hilton, Sheriff Chad Bianco.
Yeah.
We're not sure if others are going to come forward on the conservative side. But Kamala Harris has expressed her potential intent to come here and run because she said something to the tune of, wouldn't it be fun to be California's first female governor of color? Because that's what it's about.
Yeah.
Is if it's going to be fun for her. Right? You know, if that happens, there's an open primary, which means whichever two candidates just get the most votes, regardless of party. Those two
jungle primary.
Jungle. I love that. Those two will be on the ballot. So we could find ourselves in a position with a Kamala Harris and a Bonta or somebody else on the left on the ballot. So I think that it's extra important this year, going into those 2026 midterms, that people feel free to develop their own political understandings and ideologies. That's what we're trying to do here at Politically Basic, is give people the strengthening and the education and understanding to do that, and to feel free to express them. You know, all those closeted...
To do your research, basically, and not get backlash for speaking your First Amendment right.
Yeah.
Standing up for what you believe in, basically.
Absolutely. Do you think that cancellation is kind of gone now? Like the way that people were canceled in 2016, do you think that's possible still?
I hope not. I don't think. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's gone away for the most part. I think they still try to, but with Elon now owning X, you can't really do that anymore. So that's pretty cool that way, too.
There are a lot more safeguards for people to express themselves, I think. Yeah, more safely. Well, I really want to talk to you about the symbolism of your rallies.
Yeah.
I think this is a huge point. In the last maybe 8 years or so, somehow the American flag has turned into a symbol of the right, of the conservative Republican Party, of what people try to coin white nationalism. And in some weird, twisted way, flying an American flag has come to message something negative to people on the left.
Yeah.
Now, how many American flags do you guys have flying in any given rally?
Myself, I can fly up to 13 or 15. I kind of lose track.
On your vehicle?
On my truck, yeah. My friend Jerry, he flies, I believe, 35 flags on his truck. And we got some really big ones, too, in our group, too. It's honestly just being patriotic and loving our country.
What's wrong with loving our country?
Yeah.
Well, I'm asking. I'm genuinely curious about this because it makes zero sense to people who ask that very question. What is negative about being proud of the country in which you live? In which you have your citizenship, you pay your taxes to, you are sworn to defend. When you're a citizen of the United States, that means you forego loyalty to every other nation on earth.
Yeah.
You're loyal to the U.S. You will stand up and defend this country if needed when called to do so in different ways. You literally pledge your allegiance to that flag, to this country.
Yeah.
And it's been twisted. I'm trying to get to the bottom of it, and I can't quite figure it out. What do you think?
Truthfully, I don't really know. It just kind of just become like, I think it's just that marker basically that the left has been brainwashed to hate now, which is crazy because it's America. It's all of our veterans and first responders, and it just represents everyone, all of the different countries that live here in the U.S. We're not our own culture. We're everyone else's culture mixed together. And that's what the American flag is for. And now they're trying to, separate it from everyone else. And it's weird. I don't know why, but I'm going to always stand up for the flag. And all of my friends are always going to stand up for the flag. I just hope everyone else will go back to loving America and loving the American flag.
Yeah, I'm not sure where else they're going to go. Are they going to find it any better? And
yeah.
You know, a lot of people have sacrificed tremendously for this country. And she's not perfect.
No.
She's flawed, and she always will be. We will always have problems. We will always need to do better. We'll never achieve nirvana and utopia because people have different ideas of what that looks like, too.
Yeah.
but we are highly conscious of trying to meet that goal, to always trying to do better. And to the point of people making that ultimate sacrifice, we're coming up on Memorial Day, the day that we remember and think about and pay homage to and respect toward people who have given their lives to protect our freedoms and our country and our Constitution. And I'm imagining you guys are going to be celebrating that day pretty big coming up here in a few days. What are you going to do?
Actually, our 8th annual Memorial Day PCH flag run. That's also as long as the PCH is open for the most part. But I didn't actually start this. It was another group, PCH flag runners, and I've kind of gone in and kind of rebranded it a little bit and just made it a lot bigger from what it was. Yeah. That was about 5 years ago when I first joined it and took it over, kind of. And we have a minimum of 500 vehicles flying American flags. Cruise from Venice through Malibu, Santa Monica, and in Point Mugu, we have this giant dirt lot on the side of the PCH. We fully take over. I have a 100-foot crane that comes out. Big red crane company. They hoist up this giant American flag, have stage, music, vendors, raffle prizes. But honestly, it's all just to honor our fallen heroes and remember our heroes, basically. And we have so many veterans. We have so many families in our rallies that come out that have all served. My grandpa served as well.
Yeah, I love that. It's so meaningful.
Yeah.
I think we're starting as a country to get back to a place of respecting our veterans and taking care of them.
Yeah.
It's just been a long time since we had a major war, and although we have troops overseas in war zones and people are dying still, sometimes we forget. We forget about our veterans. And I love the work of organizations like Tunnel to Towers and ones that are really focusing on like, hey, these people gave tremendously in a way that is personally sacrificial from them, and it affects their families and their loved ones. So I love taking that special time to think about that and remember that and just be grateful for it. So that's so cool. If people want to know more about that rally, the PCH flag run, or get involved with you guys, how can they find you?
Well, the simplest, easiest way is our website, 805patriots.com. But then for almost all of my social media pages, it's 805_Patriots. Facebook is SoCal Patriots. I need to work on that. Work on the Facebook posting a little bit more. My main is
Facebook,
Instagram.
I feel like it might be going by the wayside these days. But I think Instagram's the way to go. So people can find you there. And who is 805 Patriots for?
It's not even just for everyone who lives in 805 anymore. I've kind of just spreaded it out to Southern California. Like, the 805 beer is known by almost everyone. That's kind of what I want 805 Patriots to be, is just to be known as the largest patriotic loving Americans in the country. And you don't have to be from the 805 to be 805 Patriots, honestly.
But 805 is all of us. It really is. And it's not just for Trump lovers or conservatives. It really feels like it is for anyone who is a patriot, who loves our country and wants to come and celebrate that. That's so cool. Well, I hope everybody goes to check you out. And while I've got you, I'm dying to know. I want to ask you the fun questions. Tell us the wildest, craziest thing that has ever happened on one of your rallies.
This was actually just happened like 3 weeks ago. Matt Gaetz was having a speaking event with Brandon Straka, Walk Away, in Beverly Hills. They called me and asked, hey, you guys want to come, make a speech, show up with your flags? And they were having a march, and the plan was to drive along with their march to the rally. We had about 20 or so of us, and we got right to West Hollywood, where there's a lot of the gay flags, rainbow, and all that stuff. They fully surrounded us. Completely, like, there was like 30, 40 of them on my bumper of my truck. I had to try to slowly get myself out of there. They ripped off all my flagpoles off my truck. I lost like $900 with the flagpoles. They're like pretty expensive. All of our flags, they were throwing those lime scooters in the road and benches and stuff. We all had to try to get, it was crazy. We have like a quick little video of it I posted online if you guys want to go see it. I honestly never thought that was going to happen to us. I kind of try to stay away from those areas, but that was just because we went down there and I was asked.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't like doing rallies to go and counter protest someone.
Sure.
Because I want to keep my stuff family friendly, where the children can come out, the old elderly can come out and feel safe and friendly. So I don't go and do that kind of stuff. Like, our rallies are to kind of show backlash, I guess, or like they trigger other people, but it's our stuff and we kind of keep it separate from everyone else.
Well, I'm a big fan of LA. I love West Hollywood. There are a lot of great people there and a tremendous gay community, and a lot of them are conservative, actually. But they won't come out and yank flagpoles off. So I'm sorry that happened, but you know what? It's going to happen no matter what you're promoting. You could walk the streets saying you're saving puppies and somebody would yell at you for something. So,
oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
Well, that's just sometimes the California way, sadly, even though we love everybody who lives here. Well, very interesting. And we're definitely going to go check out some of your more entertaining videos. Charles, tell me where you want to take this. Where do you hope 805 Patriots goes in the future?
I want to get it to a point where we're known across the country, and just continue having humongous great events. But personally with myself, I've kind of learned that I love organizing events and I love being patriotic, where hopefully someone in the campaign, Trump's campaign, someone can pick me up, and I want to help organize stuff on a bigger level and hopefully have that 805 Patriots tagging along somewhere along that way.
Very cool. Well, you know, we're coming up next summer on the 250th anniversary.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm guessing that's tucked away in your brain somewhere, and you might already still be planning something.
Yeah.
And I hope that I get to swing by and see whatever you guys are doing.
That'll be a fun one.
That's going to be really fun. What a time to be alive, right? Yeah. Well, I so appreciate everything that you're doing. Keep it up. It's fun. I think it's really energizing and motivating for people. Stay safe. Don't piss anybody off too bad. And I hope that we'll see you around at one of these events that you're doing.
Yeah, I hope you can come and join us.
Amazing. Thanks for being on the show with me.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for letting me come on.
And thank you for joining us on this very fun episode of Politically Basic, where we break down the basics of all political issues and let you decide. Be sure to follow us at politicallybasic.com and at Politically Basic on all socials so you don't miss a single episode. We'll see you next time.
We won, you mad, you cry, we laugh, we wave the flag. Thank God that we're back. Couldn't take another 4 years. That's a wrap. I can take a bath in your tears. That's a fact. You got lipstick all on your beard. You're a man. That is cap. That is cap. 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 You pretending you're accepting. That's an act. You hear pat. 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 If you want our freedom, come and take it back. Bet you can. We won. You mad. It's done. Too bad. Boo-hoo. So sad. We won, you mad, you cry, we laugh, we wave the flag.
They try to cancel me and say that I'm a racist. Got a mean hook, they can't get me with that jab. Trying to take away my right to go and say this. Well, listen up, cause this gun is going bad. With the facts, 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 facts. Why they trying to turn Becky into Dan? You get tap, 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 tap. Screw Eminem, I'm Roseanne.
Too bad, boo-hoo, so sad. We won, you mad, you cry, we laugh, we wave the flag. If you mad about it, go and cry about it. Shave your head and wear a shirt that says you're woke. If you can't handle a lot of facts and make up lies about it, say goodbye to Joe, your daddy's coming home. We won, you mad, it's done, too bad, boo-hoo, so sad, now your daddy's home. We won, you mad, you cry, we laugh, we wave the flag, now your daddy's home. We won, you mad, it's done, too bad, boo-hoo, so sad.